All right, well, welcome everyone to the Six in Provence Global Seminar Information Session. My name is Ellie Vogt, and I am one of the Global Seminar Coordinators. I'm the Global Seminar Coordinator for this program, and I was for this program last summer as well. I'm so excited to be with you all today. Is everyone seeing my screen? You can see the PowerPoint? No?
We could, or I could, but now it's gone, but it looks like some people can.
Okay, great. All right, so yeah, as mentioned, this is recorded. It will be shared to everyone who's registered. So the recording will be done in a week or two. So we'll upload it to the playlist with the recordings of all of the information sessions, and then I'll email you all the links. All right, so I'm just going to go over quick reminders. As mentioned, there's a lot more in-depth detail general information session that we did, all the coordinators. So I put that link into chat. So please watch that YouTube video when you can. It's going to go over a lot more details. But the applications are open. They opened on November 1st, which is really exciting. I've seen some applications for this program, which is really great. As a reminder, each program needs a minimum of 15 students to run, and has a max capacity at 28 students besides some exception programs. So once the program is full, it is full. We do accept some on the waiting list, but I usually send a reminder to students when there's 5 and 10 spots left. So if you start an application, you should be updated on that, and they're always welcome to check in with me about how many spots remain. And then, yeah, as another reminder to watch that general information session that I put into chat. And then Global Summers Financial Aid Zoom session. We have a financial aid advisor. His name is Eduardo. So he's specifically for study abroad. So he can meet with you in terms of financial aid and what you can expect to receive this summer in terms of aid and grants. If you check our calendar and the website, he just posted the recording. He did a session in the past week or two, and he just uploaded that YouTube link to that link, and it's on our website as well under financial aid. So please watch that when you can, or check the calendar for his next sessions coming up. And then a reminder to review the cancellation policy and withdrawal deadlines. Unless your program is canceled, you won't be refunded the $250 deposit. So once you apply, that deposit goes towards your program fee, but it's not going to be refunded if you decide not to go. And then after March 1st, you are fully financially responsible for the program. So if you need to withdraw, please do before March 1st. And then you can check our how to apply page for more information on how to apply now that the applications are open. So placeholders as a reminder, if you're a first year student or a transfer student, you don't have your UCSD transcript yet, that's totally okay. Just as a placeholder, upload your current academic history. And then once you receive your fall quarter grades, you can just upload the new transcript when you have that. Just as a placeholder, you can just upload what you have now. And then passport. If you don't have a passport, just please in the meantime upload a picture of your passport receipt or appointment, because you'll need at least have an appointment before you apply, because we need to see that you're in the process of obtaining a passport, as you won't be able to go to France without one. And then health clearance. Student health services doesn't start seeing students till around December, so just call them, and then you can just upload a picture of that you're on the waiting list, the confirmation from them that you did speak with them about creating an appointment. Similar, if you meet with a private doctor, you could just upload a screenshot of when your appointment is. And then, so the visa and the travel registry is the responsibility of the student. For US passport holders, France or the UK, the EU is now implementing a travel authorization visa, ETIAS. It was actually supposed to be implemented last spring, and it's been pushed back. So it should be implemented by the time you guys all go abroad. It's a really simple application. It's around $25. So that's just something to note. We'll give more information as it gets closer. You don't need to worry about that right now. And then for non-US passport holders, visas may vary. So please check in with ISEO. If you're an international student or other visas, please check with your sponsor lawyer. And then we provide more documentation in March. All right, program fees. So as mentioned in our general information session, we talk about program fees in 3 buckets. So the first is the summer session tuition. As these programs are over summer session, you are taking summer session classes, so you'd just be paying summer session tuition just as you would any other summer session courses you'd be taking. So that's an estimated $2,520. However, you're not going to be in San Diego or on campus. You're going to be in Aix-en-Provence, the beautiful south of France. So included in that is a program fee. So for this program, it's around $6,250. This includes your housing, on-site support. There's a whole on-site team there through our partner organization that will be there to support you. All the excursions, classroom, insurance, all that is included in that. And then the third bucket is personal expenses. So this is something that you'd be paying for your own, estimated around $3,600. So your plane tickets, you'll be responsible for purchasing your own plane tickets. And again, that won't be until spring. Usually students leave from wherever they are. Some students go early, some students stay later, some students leave from their hometown, some leave from San Diego. So it really just depends on your individual situation. There is a airport pickup though, and a window that will send you the details for meals. So there is a welcome and a farewell meal included, but outside of that, all meals are responsibility of the student. So you will have access to a kitchen. You can save a lot of money by grocery shopping and cooking, or it depends if you go out to eat, they're obviously going to spend more money on food. So that's kind of a sliding scale. And then passport, if you need a passport, and all the visa purchases as well. On the website, I did input a calculator so you can put in your personal expected costs, and then it should input what your total cost should be. And then for contacting the study abroad office, please send all the questions on VAC if you're a UC San Diego student. If you're a non-UC student, please email Global Seminars. If you have any questions, just please include your program of interest, and then it'll be sent to the relevant advisor. So if it's for Aix-en-Provence, then it would be sent to me. And then virtual drop-in advising hours, there's always a global summer coordinator at one of these. So Monday and Friday, 1 to 3, and then Monday and Thursdays, 1 to 3, and then Friday, 10 to 11:30. And then to contact financial aid, this is the email to contact Eduardo. He's in drop-ins also on Fridays, 10 to 11:30. Okay, is there any questions? And then before I hand it off to Professor Bronstein, just want to go over again the website. So this is where you can see the draft for the syllabi for both courses, departure dates. This is where the fees are, and this is the calculator that I just mentioned. So as you see, you can input different costs and it will print an estimate. Excursions, there's a lovely map, and then all the visits and excursions should be in here, and then more information on your housing. So 2 per room, kitchen, laundry, all of that. So that's kind of where you can navigate a lot of this information. And then I'll take questions at the end. Oh yeah, and if you have a French passport and you're traveling on a different passport, then it shouldn't apply to you. It's only if you are traveling on a US passport. That's a good question. All right, and then I'll let Professor Bronstein give her presentation, and then at the end we'll take questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Ellie. All right. Let's see, play from current slide. Okay, hopefully this works. My computer is having a hard time this morning, but hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Bronstein. I'm going to introduce myself more fully in a minute, but I'm super excited to talk to you about Aix-en-Provence. And then one of our students from last year who's in this photo, Christy Lynn, is also here to talk a little bit about her experience and also just answer any questions from a student perspective. So there we go. Okay. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so I'm Dr. Bronstein. I'm an associate teaching professor in Six Colleges Culture, Art, and Technology program. And I oversee both the CAP writing program and then our experiential learning program. And this is, I realized, my 10th year at UCSD. And this will be the second time that I've taught a global seminar in X, and my third time teaching a global seminar in general, but I'm super excited to go back to the south of France. Um, I've taught widely across the CAT sequence. I used to teach the first year experience course that we don't sadly have anymore. And then, like I said, I've taught global seminars, which I love for lots of reasons. Getting to teach on site, like with students, getting to go on excursions with students, the small class size, like there are so many things to love. It's been some of my best teaching experiences at UCSD. And I also get to teach in my field, which is media studies. And so the courses are built around some of the things that I personally love and like to talk about. So cooking, travel, hiking. So you'll see these themes show up, particularly in the Cat 125 course that's about leisure, and narratives of leisure, also critiquing those. And then media, my background is in media studies. I'm a TV historian by training. But I really like to teach classes that are about media and place. And so you'll see that when we talk about the lit class. Um, I'm a UC alum and I actually studied abroad as part of the EAP, like the Education Abroad program in the UC system. And it was a really formative experience for me. And so I knew when I became faculty that teaching study abroad courses was like a big thing I wanted to do. So I'm very grateful for global seminars and this opportunity. And then I'm really excited to be in France again. I grew up in a French American school. And so while my French is rusty, I do speak French. And it's really fun to sort of get to channel some of those earlier educational moments for me. All of the pictures in this PowerPoint are from France last summer, and these are my kids and my husband who travel with us to the south of France. So this is from one of the lavender fields, but really like a global seminar is this amazing opportunity to have this sort of immersion in culture and life of X, and like all the sort of exploration that's built into the program and thinking about the region, both through the mechanism of media, but also through our own experiences as we move through the space. So global seminars are always two classes. These classes are designed specifically with 6 college GEs in mind, but obviously also could work for any college. Um, the Cat 125 course, which is our upper division public communication class. This class is really focused on thinking about French culture and leisure at the nexus of food, cheese, and wine. And so for this class, we did things like going to a cooking class, which we'll do again this summer. And then we also looked at the ways in which like immigration and food function, particularly in the south of France. So we watched Secret of the Grain. And then we also looked at The Taste of Things, which is a recent French movie about the kitchen. Basically, it's like this beautiful meditation on cooking. Um, and so this class is really focused on thinking about like how stories are told about the region through these different sort of points. And for this class, students do write like a long form magazine article basically for the class. So last year, students wrote on a variety of different things from wine culture in the south of France and thinking about like the concept of terroir to students that were writing about labor laws in the US versus France. And then there was a group that also focused very explicitly on leisure and like thinking about the pacing of life in Aix-en-Provence and sort of so anyway, it's really fun in terms of sort of you get to choose one of the threads of the class to explore in a pair and like do a deep dive on it across the space of 5 weeks. And then the second class is the literature class that can either meet for 6 college students, it can either meet your experiential learning GE requirement if you haven't yet met that, or it can fulfill the historical and narrative reasoning GE requirement. It can't do both, but it can do one of them. Um, so this course looks at how French films imagine France. So we sort of start big and we look at what is a nation, how do we think about national film cultures. We learned a little bit about the history of French cinema. This shot is from the Eden Cinema, which was one of the first places to screen the Lumiere brothers' very famous train pulling into a station, which it's the train pulling into a station in La Ciotat, which is where the Eden Cinema is. And so we sort of start big and then we narrow to thinking about region, particularly in the French Riviera. So as we're like moving through the space of Aix, and then we go to Nice and Cassis. We're thinking about sort of how these spaces are imagined on screen. And we think about those like at that intersection of sort of national French identity, but then also narratives of race, immigration, and legacies of French colonization. So those are the two classes. This would be our weekly schedule, more or less, as we'd have class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Thursdays, we would do field trips or excursions together. I'll show you what those are on the next slide. And the weekends are mostly for you, with the exception that we might do a hike of Mount Saint-Victoire that first weekend when we all arrive. And then we'll also have a weekend away all together in Nice and in the French Riviera. So these are the excursions for this year. They are some of them are similar to what we did last year, but since we were there, I got to sort of explore the region as well, and also talk to students and got a lot of feedback on things that were working and ways to sort of reshape the class. So we'll do a French cooking class together. Then we'll take a day trip to the Eden Cinema, which I just showed you a picture of the projector from, and La Ciotat. And then we'll take a guided tour of Aix-en-Provence. Markets are a huge part of Aix-en-Provence. That was also a different student essay project, was looking at the markets and public space. So we'll do a market tour. It's also like part historical city tour. We'll visit Chateau Les Baux and Carrière des Lumières, which are these like, one is like a old castle that also has been turned into like a sculpture garden. And so you get the history of the castle, but then also it's like contemporary usage as this art space. And then the Carrière is like this, I think it's like a old mine, but you like it's right below the chateau, and you do they project paintings mostly. So when we went, we saw Monet like projected on these walls with music. It's really beautiful. So it'll also give us a sense of sort of thinking about both like historical art and then contemporary art in this space. And then we will probably visit Arles that at that same time. And then we'll have a trip to the American College of the Mediterranean Vineyard visit with a tasting. And then at the end, we will go to Gorge Verdun, which is like this, it was like one of the first shots where it's like turquoise water. It's like this beautiful natural space. And then go to Les Moussiers, which is like a small hill town right next to it. And then our weekend excursion will focus on Nice and the French Riviera, and we'll focus on art, culture, wine, and thinking about narratives of leisure. So that's it for me. That's like my overview. I'm happy to answer any questions. Christy Lynn can talk a little bit about her experience. And then I can answer the question in the chat also. Does Cat 125? So every course can only fulfill one requirement. So Cat 125 will fulfill Cat 125, and then unless you've already taken it, then I think potentially you could petition it to fulfill your experiential learning requirement. And then the other class can fulfill either the historical narrative and historical reasoning, or the experiential learning requirement. In addition, one way to, if you need both of those requirements, your narrative and historical reasoning and Cat 125, when you come back in the fall, you can enroll in Cat 90, and you can do it's a 1-unit reflective class that like helps students get experiential learning credit for doing something experiential over the summer. So I hope that was probably a confusing answer, but hopefully that helped answer. Can we take even in this particular case? Yes, you can take Cat 125 before you take Cat 1 through 3. In general, when you're on campus, we suggest waiting to take Cat 125 if you came in as a first year. If you're a transfer student, then you can take Cat 125 literally anytime. Genevieve, did that answer your question? Hopefully. Okay, awesome. Christy Lynn, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
Hi, yes, it's so nice to see you again. My name is Christy Lynn. I went abroad this past summer to Aix-en-Provence, and it was just the best trip. And I had so many fun memories from it. But I am a sixth college student, and now I'm a senior. Um, My favorite part about the study abroad program for me personally was the excursions. We went everywhere, like Dr. Bronstein mentioned, from Nice. We went to Cannes, and there's so many learning experiences through those trips, and even fun things that we're able to do during the afternoon, like taking a boat or guided tours, and then laying by the beach and enjoying the water. And then every weekend, you have opportunities almost to see neighboring cities. So, for instance, I went to Arles. It was not a possible excursion as a class group, but I'm excited to see that perhaps it will be this next coming summer. And so you have a lot of free time, and then your classmates, you build really close connections too. I still talk to a lot of them actually, and then we see each other on campus quite frequently, and so it's nice to say hi and to reminisce. And then as for the classes, I had to fulfill Cat 125. So um I really enjoyed like the public speaking part of it because you do present as a group at the end, and it's really interesting to hear what everyone took away from the trip. Like Dr. Bronstein had mentioned, some groups focused more on wine culture, leisure culture. My group, for instance, like Dr. Bronstein mentioned, I focused more on the market life, market scene, and public spaces. But it's really interesting just to come together and talk about that. And then we also did watch a lot of films together as a class on our own time after class had ended. And so that was just another great way to connect as a group. Um, and so, yeah, I really love the program. Just see a quick comment about does the program fill up quickly? In my case, I think if I remember, I was able to submit the application about a month and a half after it opened, and then not long um, after I think it was said that like, okay, well, we have enough at least minimum enrollment, and then we were good to go. But um, I have a feeling it's going to roll pretty quickly because a lot of people I've talked to and friends in general have said that they really want to try out the Aix-en-Provence trip. So if you have any questions, I can put my email in the chat if you want more of a student perspective or questions about maybe just like fun weekend trips or things nearby or whatnot. So yeah, thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much.